Here is Don Tequilas, who we call Julio, which was his stable name on the racetrack. So, of course, we kept with it since I was told, and Julio suits him perfectly. He is such a Julio. He is a hooligan. Maybe that's why they got Julio. So he is having his second jump school back out in the field. I'm just sort of taking advantage of the fact that we've actually had a ton of rain in July and August. And so, like, the grass is green, the footing is amazing. It is so nice. So I'm riding a ton in the field right now. Plus, it is also wicked hot and humid, and it does feel like when you're standing on grass, it doesn't reflect back at you quite as badly as when you're standing on sand. So I do think that the ring feels hotter than the grass. So I prefer the grass for that reason. Oh, this horse is such a little character. He just had to get that nasty weed right there next to the post. Had to have it. But of course, the trade off is that it is hot and humid, and riding on grass stirs up all the bugs. So it's sweating your butt off with sand, heat reflecting back up at you, or riding on grass and being swarmed by bugs. I don't know. The lesser of two evils. I guess I've been choosing bugs lately. But Julio actually wasn't really too buggy today, which was good. Well, I doused everybody in like what felt like half a bottle of fly spray each, so it works for about 10 minutes. Anyway, so I think after today, I think Julio has jumped everything in the field actually, and he did it all really without batting an eye. Actually, he's so casual that it would be better for pictures and things if he actually was a little bit spooky, because spooky horses tend to jump up a little bit better just because they're impressed by whatever the thing is that they're going over. So they tend to be really tight with their knees and sort of make this big bascule, maybe a little bit of over jumping, and it's really not necessarily what you want for training at all. But it certainly does make a beautiful picture, and it always gets buyers' attention. However, Julio is an economical kid. He says he is not going to run faster or jump higher than he needs to in order to get the job done, which actually is what you want in terms of training and developing a horse. It's much easier and correct. It just doesn't make the like splashy wow picture, which is fine. Julio is so appropriate, for any amateur who wants to develop along a horse. Really, I mean, he could go and do anything. Of course, I'm partial to eventing, so yeah, I think Julio could be a fantastically easy event horse for someone to develop up the levels a bit. Do I think Julio is going to be a 5-star horse? Definitely not. He does not want to run that fast or jump that high, but I could totally see him, climbing up to modified or prelim, something like that. And I'm sure he would tell you that no need to be so ambitious. He'd be happy at training level, because that's just kind of how he is. He's just a big old goofball. He's very economical. He just wants to plod around. He keeps a fantastic rhythm. You're seeing me doing some walking and trotting transitions because we're working a little bit on the steering. Sometimes he's drifting out the outside shoulder. He's very equal about it. Actually doesn't matter which shoulder. It's always the outside shoulder that he wants to kind of drift out. I guess he's a little bit heavier on the left shoulder, which kind of comes through a bit when we're jumping. You can see that. But that's just because, of course, he's a super green horse and he's popping around a jump field, and he really needs lots and lots of miles on the flat, which, of course, I'm sure he will get with his next human. And I will, of course, continue to do my best to develop him along on the flat simultaneously. I'm sure what Julio is really thinking right now more than anything is that he would like a few days off. I'm sure he's pooped from doing this. The last time he did a little jump school in the field, he slept for like 12 hours, just like flat out slept. He got up to eat, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, I'm just doing some walk transitions here to kind of straighten him out whenever I feel like I'm losing a shoulder. And then some circles and things like that. So the other side of the coin to not being a super splashy jumper is that what he is totally unfazed by everything. He could care less about anything, it seems. I mean, he's certainly not a spooky type of horse. He's not easily impressed. If you put it in front of him and you keep his shoulders straight, he is more than happy to go over the thing, whatever that thing might be. I mean, he doesn't care at all about the pipes, which some horses can find the pipes quite scary, but not Julio. I don't even think he noticed the difference between the pipes and the logs, which is fantastic. He has a great canter and he really, really jumps cute, actually, I should say, out of the canter. It's not like he makes some huge wow jump out of the canter, but like that was just so perfectly adorable. Just super rhythmic. Tempo never changes. Makes a really cute shape without overuse of energy. Overuse of energy is not his jam. He wants to conserve his energy, which is he's just so funny. He says he's happy to get the job done, but he's not going to do it a foot higher than he needs to, which is fine. And it makes him so amateur friendly. And honestly, it makes him feel very safe and rideable. Oh, that was so cute. I mean, just absolutely perfectly adorable down that line. So good. I think, yeah, I had hoped to jump that out of the canter, but he broke to the trot, which is fine because he needs to practice jumping out of the trot. He is much more fluid out of the canter. However, I think he's already feeling the effects of the heat and the work. And so, yeah, he's when we're coming in the trot, he's just treating the logs as an extra large ground pole, which is fine. Again, is wonderful that this horse wants to be economical and he's not overly excitable and he's not going to get worked up when he feels no reason to. He's like, these are just huge ground poles. I can trot over them. And he's correct. He's a 16 two-hand, huge horse. He can just trot over them, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I decided that he was ready to start coming to the bigger pipes, and actually he jumped that quite cute out of the trot and landed on his right lead, which was great. So he also is just sort of getting to the point where, and I know it's only a second time, but he's just so unfazed by all of this that, the logs are already just like kind of way too small for him. So, like, there, of course, he just wants to trot over them, which is fine. No problem, Julio. You're being a champion. He is actually jumping better out of the trot, but the jump just needs to be a little bit bigger to entice him to actually jump. Here I'm just contending with a little bit of loss of the left shoulder. Actually, even though he is on that left shoulder, he jumped that little house cute. I think he was just impressed is not the right word. He was not impressed, but he found a little bit more energy within himself to jump that little brown house a little cuter than the logs, which are just such a snooze for him by now. So back to the bigger pipe. And again, like pretty good footwork there out of the trot, landing in the canter, and especially landing in the right canter, which is his canter that is a little bit weaker. He prefers the left, so that's great. Here I'm contending with a little bit of drifting. They all always want to drift to the left over those jumps for whatever reason. But I made my point, and he's on the right lead, which is excellent. And actually, he jumps that really nicely out of off the right lead. Actually, that was quite cute too. But again, that log is bigger. That's like a fatter, skinnier log. It's more the size of the bigger black pipes, unlike that one, which is the small black pipe, which he's treating as a ground pole. So the little bit bigger jumps, he's definitely putting in better form. And then the small ones, he's just like, oh, these are such snoozers, we'll just trot over them. So he will definitely impress much more over some newer, slightly bigger jumps, I think. He has already outgrown my little jump field. And then again, good boy, landing on his right lead, staying straighter that time. He's definitely getting quite tired, so we're in the home stretch here. Yeah, and there you can see just some left drift, which he wasn't drifting that bad before. He's just sort of telling me that it's about closing time here. He's getting pretty exhausted, even though we haven't been going for that long. But it is very hot, and Julio does not have energy for days and days and days. He is a horse that gets tired and then needs long, long naps to recuperate. And I just did the most fascinating little figure eight loop-de-loo to get back to this pipe. All right, so grand finale here to the coop in the corner. And more than anything for Julio at this point, it's just the straightness. He doesn't care about the loop, but he's having some drift back towards the house and the barn, and everything is that direction.